Kroger Delivery has one mission: to deliver the freshest food right to your door. That's why our drivers are pros. Our trucks are refrigerated. And when it comes to low prices, we always deliver. With $20 off your first order of $75 or more, there's no better time to get in on the action. Mission accomplished. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
On this episode of Bantha Milk Podcast, Nick has allergies.
And Rob is in his Sunday best.
Intro music.
Feels no good to be dead. Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
We got to fix that little,
Yeah.
little input there.
I use it for 32 seconds a week, and I always forget to get it.
Because by the end of our hour of talking, you're not
Yeah.
thinking, "Oh, I got to replace that."
I got to replace this cable. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bent. I got to get a new one.
Well, while you deal with that, I'll deal with my tissues here.
Yes.
Welcome to Bantha Milk Podcast.
Welcome to Bantha Milk Podcast.
Welcome to Bantha Milk
Welcome.
Podcast. WEOK Radio coming at you live.
Coming at you live.
Live at 5.
Weather on the 2s, traffic on the 4s. Coming at you live.
We really need to. I don't know why. We haven't been scouted by local radio yet.
I know we
should be like your drive time
we
radio
should be.
hosts.
The morning. Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking. We're taking calls.
We got-
We're giving people advice about their love life and their work problems.
We can do it all. We can be on the local radio from sunrise to sunset. We can
That's
do it
right.
all.
Yeah.
Good morning. Yeah.
Good morning, Vietnam. Okay, yeah, we're starting to peak the mic here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then at the end, we'll be like, this soft song goes out
Yeah.
to all the lovers out there.
Yeah. This song is for Amy. Amy, Steve's real sad about what he did. He knows he did you dirty.
He knows he did you dirty.
But he wants you to know, Boo, that ain't nobody like you, Boo. So here's George Michael's classic hit, Faith.
Because they got it. But I saw him kissing a girl named Faith.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Anywho,
welcome to
yeah.
Bantha Milk Podcast.
we're here, and
We're
we've got, we kind of have Bantha Milk today. Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
That's nice.
well, Nick had Bantha
I have.
Milk.
Well, I still have it. It just is, kind of inside of some paper towels.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a coffee, my nice free Wawa coffee. Once again, if you stop by Wawa and you tell them that you are there to support Bantha Milk Podcast. And that you're a teacher,
And
you will
you're a
get
teacher.
you will get a free coffee. But you only have until this Friday, I guess. 'cause
Yeah, it's only for the month
only
of September.
So go out to your local Wawa, say, I want Bantha Milk Podcast, and I am a teacher, and get your free coffee.
Yep, and you do all that,
And then you
get free
spill it.
coffee.
And then you spill it all over Rob's table here.
And
you make a
computer, and you make a mess.
Yeah. But, life goes. No use crying over spilled coffee.
Nope.
And
But
then
now
Rob's got some iced tea.
I have some iced tea.
See, I should have gone with tea.
You
That
should
was
have.
my mistake.
Yeah.
I'm
Fresh
going to try not
brewed
to
iced
sniff
tea.
into this the whole time.
Fresh brewed iced tea, I might add.
Oh,
I like,
really?
Yeah, we
Is
have
it
that.
sweetened?
With my own sugar, yeah.
Isn't that how you sweeten
Yeah,
iced
that
tea?
is. Yeah, but I'm not like super sweet tea.
I got you.
But just like enough sugar so that it doesn't taste like blah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm not big on tea. I like iced tea. I used to be one of those guys who I'd have the pitcher in my, but it was like the powdered iced tea.
Oh yes, yep.
I loved that stuff.
I used to love that
it's
as well.
so sweet.
Yeah.
And I don't have it in the house anymore, mainly because I don't really drink sweet things anymore.
Okay.
I drink water
Okay.
or like coffee or like whiskey.
There you go.
That's
One of three things.
Yeah, that's it. But that being said,
Yeah.
I'm drinkless tonight.
You
I'm
are
sad.
drinking. You had coffee, and then you said,
I
don't want to
squandered
drink
it.
Yeah.
I
You
looked at it and
squandered
went,
away.
you would do much better all over the place. And here
So there we go. But
so we're here, a special late night edition of. I love how old we are. Late night edition.
Late
It's
night,
9:55,
yeah.
and we're like, oh my god, it's old. But that's me every week anyway.
That is me as well.
But we are here for another episode breakdown, episode 7, Dreams and Madness. Right, a lot of stuff going on in that. But yeah, before we get into that, I guess we should talk about people who we support and who you should support, right?
Yeah. So ears up in depth.
Punipod. Scraping the vault.
They're the one that's the most fun to say. Punipod,
because it's alliterative.
It is.
It's nice to say.
It is, and it rhymes too.
Yeah. See, we were going for. It doesn't rhyme.
No, it doesn't rhyme.
No, not at all.
I was trying to say the same thing that you said, but not as fancy, and it didn't work.
That's all right.
It's all right. It was worth a shot.
But we were going for alliterative with our original title.
Banter,
Beskar, and Bantha Milk. But apparently people thought that was too wordy.
It was too much. It was too much, yeah. So we had to shorten
Except
it
wasn't just that. It was Banter, Beskar, and Bantha Milk, a Mandalorian podcast.
Yeah.
It's more like the title of a memoir, I guess.
It was. It was like our book.
Yeah.
The autobiography.
That's when like in like 100 years' time, when they're writing books about us, that's what the title of the book will be.
It will be. It'll be all of that. Yes.
Yeah.
So Punipod, scraping the vault. Yes. And what's the other one? Supreme Taco Resort.
Man,
so check all of them out.
Yeah, you can check us out on the social medias as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Check out our social medias.
On the Instas, on the Faces, not on the X, because I don't understand it anymore.
No.
You know what I don't understand about X as I sneeze? Hold on. What I don't understand is like he like bought the company, he's losing a lot of money. He's charging for all the check marks. But like now I'm like, all right, well, I don't want an account, so I'm not going to look. And now you can't even see people's tweets unless you have an account.
Really?
Yeah, like I can't go to like I'll go to Elon Musk's Twitter. I can't read it. You must sign in.
You must sign in.
So
to read
like
it. Where
now
at
it's
least
just like I guess I'm done with this really now. You know?
Like if I check Instagram on my computer, but I'm not signed in, you can still skim through it. You just can't do anything. Yeah, he really wants to keep that all that stuff going there. Or whatever.
I guess so.
So it's not loading. Load. But anywho, all right. So the only news thing I just saw. I'm trying to think. I just started writing down notes about the episode because we also wanted to try and keep this short. But Ariana Greenblatt, which is the girl who played young Ahsoka in episode 5. She says that she and Hayden Christensen discussed a live-action Clone Wars project.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I saw a post on Facebook. Dave Filoni has confirmed that they're going to be making a trilogy that will take place during the Clone Wars movie or TV series, like at the end of season 1, but will be running parallel to the Clone Wars, but through Ahsoka's point of view, because we don't really see her that much once she leaves or whatever. But it's supposed to be like a trilogy coming. So starting in 2027 is when this movie should be coming out. So we're hearing about it now. Dave Filoni has already talked that, yes, this is the case. So it should be pretty exciting.
I'm game for that.
Yeah. This is from... I don't know who said this, but after watching Ahsoka, I need Hayden Christensen and Ariana Green about to get their own Clone Wars live-action series. The chemistry was just beautiful and heartbreaking. That's somebody talking about how it should be coming. But... yes, I read somewhere else that Dave Filoni said, yes, in fact, that it will be happening. So that's pretty exciting if that is the case.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see a little more Hayden Christensen in today's episode, too.
Yeah,
and,
it was fun.
He's doing I love it. I love his performance of it. It's been great.
Yes. It was funny when he first popped on, I was like, ooh, is this Star Wars version of AI? Like, did she program in AI to have an AI version of Anakin
just
training her?
It's like Anakin GPT.
Yeah, exactly.
Jedi GPT.
That would have been so timely and so cool if it was Anakin Chat GPT. But she did say that it was tapes and whatever.
Well, I mean, there is like some precedent for it. Like there are holocrons that are basically imbued with a dark side user's essence, essentially, and like. That's like been the plot of a lot of Star Wars stuff is, hey, this bad guy's in a holocron and oh no, he's gonna come back to life. We got to stop him. So I would dig that.
I would dig that as well. So that's the only news that I wasn't really looking too hard for some news because we had so much stuff going
Yeah,
on
you
with
might-
this episode.
If you're not like watching on YouTube, you should check us out because
Yeah.
you'll notice that Rob, like we mentioned at the beginning of the episode, is dressed to the nines.
dressed to
Dressed
the
in
nines.
his Sunday best. He's got a tie on. He just thought that this was a really special occasion. He
Yeah,
knew
well,
I
it's-
was coming over. He wanted to impress me.
You know, the 111th episode is always the big one.
Listen,
so
that's
I got all dressed up
111,
for it.
bro.
111.
That's
Yes,
111th. That's like the same age that Bilbo was when he left the Shire.
that's right.
So either way, yeah, it's been a crazy week. Rob got home from work maybe 5 to 10 minutes before I stepped in the door.
That's right.
But yeah, so he looked great, man. And I noticed the beard is on its way back.
The
Happy
beard's
about
on
it.
its way back. I
Proud of you.
Proud. Yeah, it keeps going back and forth. I'm looking at Google. I get the updates if you ever type into Google for it to send you emails about updated things that have shown up on the internet. Like I did it for my name. So every
Like the
once in a
hot
while,
search, the keyword search or whatever.
kind of, but you get like email updates. From
Yeah,
it.
it sends a lot. I remember I tried it once and I was like, I turned it off after all. Like, there's so many.
Yeah, so I did it
I was
once.
doing it about like The Mandalorian. So
Right.
It was like,
Yeah. So I typed in like Disney Star Wars, and this one article says Disney Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel. What may be next? This is from the South Florida Business Journal. You click on it, and it says, if you want to know what's next, you have to buy a subscription for $4. I was like, nope.
yep.
And then here's another one. Disney rumor. So anytime it starts with the word rumor, or forget about it. Disney CEO Bob Iger scraps 2 previously announced Star Wars films.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a rumor. I hate when they do that. It's all, and
So-
here I am
so,
clicking through to try and find it.
I heard that Dave Filoni got in a fist fight with Bob Iger.
Yes, that's what I heard too. Rumor has it.
Spread that rumor, everyone. That's a rumor. I heard.
Yes.
You just heard it too. It's a rumor.
It's a rumor.
Right? Dave Filoni and Bob Iger literally in a giant vat of pudding.
I was going to say
Fist
in the
fighting.
middle of the void. Is that what it's called?
The volume.
The volume.
You were close. It
I was
V.
very close. Yes.
But so it was in the volume actually, but they used the volume to put in this tub of pudding.
The tub of pudding.
because they thought it would be funny afterwards. But yeah, they fought hard, and I think America won.
Yes. America won. By this fight, America won.
Yep.
So whatever. So I don't have any news, but it's okay because it's already late, and we want to talk about the episode because the episode was good.
Dreams and madness.
Dreams and madness.
All right, so we're gonna hop right into it.
Hop right into it.
Spoiler alert, bro. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
We're about
right
to hop into this.
We're gonna hop into this rundown.
Yeah, gonna
right.
get this rundown for you.
Right after this commercial break.
Red Robin.
Yum. And we're back.
That's one of the more clever ways I've seen like teachers like try and get people's attention. You know, like how they do the clap. clap, clap.
Will does that all the
Yeah.
time. He always says it. Yeah.
That's a good one.
He
Maybe
does-
he's the one who I saw it.
Maybe he does all those like commercials.
Yeah.
Like he'll do that.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all the kids go, "I'm loving it," and
Yeah.
then he does like whatever the Burger King one is and all that stuff. Yeah.
Have it
so-
your way.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So
All right. So
all right.
we're oh man, now I'm hungry. This is a problem. But we're here. We're back.
Did you ride
We're-
Red 5 or did you
Red
take
5
the
is
car?
down for the count.
Oh, no.
During my like most favorite time to ride.
Yes.
It's beautiful weather, but like I actually last week when I came here to record, I planned on taking the bike, and it wouldn't start up.
Yes.
And so I
didn't
plugged
know
it-
if you fixed it since then.
No, I plugged it back in the tender, still nothing. So I gotta probably next week I'll take it in,
Oh, that's not
get it
fun.
fixed up. But yep, man, we move on.
So on to the car, but yes, the so I was going to ask because then I was like, oh, you can just stop at Taco Bell on the way home.
Ooh, don't you tempt me?
Taco
Don't you
Bell.
tempt me? Sometimes I'll just go there and get like their cheesy roll-ups.
Okay, yeah,
Like,
you do
literally-
like them. Yes.
Literally just like tortilla and cheese. It costs them like a quarter of a cent to
Uh-huh,
make.
and they charge
And they're making me
$7.
like, yeah, it's ridiculous. But
Well, I do have one bit of news which
boy.
you will like.
Oh,
I
boy.
just ordered something that for me, they won't fit you. Crocs, everybody's favorite shoe,
sure.
which I love. Crocs twice has almost gone out of business, has almost filed bankruptcy.
Really?
Yeah. And every time they like fall apart, not literally fall apart, but like the company is like almost in bankruptcy. Nobody wants to wear Crocs. And then suddenly some Instagram person is wearing Crocs with socks, and then everybody's back wearing Crocs again.
Yeah, I mean, I see them all over the place.
So now they're back. They're the new hip thing. And Crocs just came out with Star Wars, a new version of the Star Wars shoes. The clogs are Chewbacca.
Okay.
They're fuzzy on the inside, furry on the inside, and they look like they're brown with like the Chewbacca like fur swirl type things on it. So my son sent it to me and said, you have to get these. So of course I did.
Yeah.
So in the next couple of weeks or so, I will be getting some Chewbacca Crocs.
Chewbacca Crocs. Oh, I just
Chewbacca
realized you
Crocs.
had this whole box of
There's a
tissues
whole
down
box
here.
of
I'm very
tissues.
excited
Yeah,
about.
so now you have 2 boxes of tissues
yeah.
to run through.
Yeah, and I will. I'm like, it's when my allergies are bad, like I'll go through a whole box.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Oh, I know. I've often stuck tissues up my nose to stop it from running. So
Oh, that's my go-to is the walrus tissue nose. You know,
yes.
you stuff it up. I'll do both nostrils for a good like 10 minutes, and usually it's fine. But when I'm on camera, I tend not to.
you don't want to do that on camera? That
So I'll
would
just blow my nose for every 15 seconds.
I was going to say that would be great though for TikTok. That'd be awesome if you just have.
You think maybe we'll get some more
yeah,
followers?
get a lot of followers.
Yeah,
Because
maybe later we can go in and we can change the
change the thumbnail image.
thumbnail. So this is
it's
included
this.
in it, right?
Yeah,
So-
there it is. There it is. Look, folks, Nick has tissues up his nose.
Yeah, man, feel good about it. Actually, honestly, I feel better.
I bet you do because it's
Yeah.
not dripping down your face now.
Yeah.
So these are the trials and tribulations of living in the great Northeast.
Oh yeah,
All right, so Hera is being court-martialed.
yeah. So we're hopping right in here.
We're hopping right in.
So Hera's like in front of the whole council there, and you got
Or not Organa. What's her name?
Mon Mothma.
Mon Mothma is there. Some other senator that we never saw. I mean, up until this series,
Right.
Senator Zion.
Yeah. So I found out today we actually do see him, but we wouldn't because I think he's in Resistance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because somebody else posted that the rock people were there's a species very similar to them in Resistance as
Okay.
well.
Yeah. So I found that out today. He is a senator representing Hosnian Prime, which is the world that the Empire destroys in The Force Awakens.
Okay.
And he survives, so the implication is maybe that he was working with the Imperial
Because he was able to
Remnant.
get off
Right.
before. Yeah, because he
So-
definitely has some underlying
He's got an agenda.
agenda going on here because he doesn't like Hera. He doesn't want to believe that's not true. We're not there. Thrawn's not coming back. You're all lies. This is all lies. You're a bad person. You're.
I mean, honestly,
wasting our money.
Watching him talk was like watching C-SPAN.
It was.
It's like watching one of these like oversight committee hearings where
Yes.
like they call the hearing simply just to like not ask questions but to yell at people.
To yell
tell
at people,
them how
yeah.
bad they are and get screen
Uh-huh.
time. That's what it seemed like to me.
I agree with that 100%. And then, so she's being yelled at by him, and she's like, "Yeah, whatever. You're an idiot." Blah blah blah. And then right before the hearing goes down, and he says, "Okay, you're being court-martialed. You are a disgrace to the uniform, and we're taking your 5 red dots off of your jacket."
I mean, at one point he did kind of hit on something that we've talked about. He's like, you abuse your power for your personal gain. And I think several times you've been like, girl just likes flashing the "I'm a general" badge around.
She does.
doesn't
She loves
So,
throwing that up there a lot. Do you know who I am? I'm a general.
kind of a big deal. People know me.
People know me. So then, and we also did you notice that her headgear, her earphones, and her goggles were not on her hat during this time?
I can honestly say I did not notice that.
Yeah, you saw her little pointy ears like we've seen with other Twi'lexes.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
now that you're mentioning it, I feel like I do remember seeing her ears, and like that would not normally be something I've like thought about. But
Yeah.
like I specifically said, oh, like it. Yeah, so like I guess I did, and subconsciously I realized that they were something but I didn't even put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, it was interesting because she still had her hat on, or her headpiece, her headdress that went over.
All right,
like-
wasn't it just kind of over her ears a little
Yeah,
bit?
so like it was brown on top of her head, going back to her Leku, but then it was cut out. It wrapped like around her ears, but it was cut out where her ears were.
Right.
So it kind of like the hat like wrapped around her ears to hold onto her head, but she didn't have her ear muffs. She didn't have her Apple Beats, not the Beats, the Beats Pro. She didn't have her Beats Pro on with her goggles built in. So she was like, okay, well, I will actually hear everything that you say instead of listening through my headphones or whatever. So
well, she normally probably just has like death metal playing on them.
she does.
And she couldn't hear over that. By the way, I'm going to use this as a moment to plug them. One of my students hit me to Galactic Empire. I don't know if you've ever heard this band.
I think they were playing at the one beer fest.
They're outstanding. It's heavy metal Star Wars music, like all the music from the movies and stuff. They even have a Indiana Jones CD,
Okay.
but they've got 2 Star Wars CDs, and it is killer. I've been listening to it nonstop the last couple
Galactic
days.
Empire.
Yeah, so the first I think there's like a part 1, like
Okay.
and like
I'm on their website. They're playing in New York, Teaneck, New Jersey, Richmond,
that's-
Virginia,
that's not far from
Pittsburgh, Paris, France,
That's pretty far away.
London, United Kingdom, Manchester.
So I'm gonna pump this into here for just a second. Hold on.
Yeah, you pump it in. Oh, and they're on vinyl too. Holy cow.
Right, and then I got this one's great.
Oh, that is good.
Nice. Rob's got air guitar moves.
I can play air guitar. I can't play an actual guitar.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, man, of course. Oh, what's sold out? Yeah. So they have 4 albums on vinyl, which is all the cool kids are getting vinyl.
That's true.
I was thinking of getting one for my son because their printing is very cool. The one album, record is 2 different shades of blue. Another one is orange and purple blended together.
Huh.
Another album is half silver, half black, like in a straight line, which is pretty cool. Each of their records are $25 a piece.
That's
though.
not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they're much worse out there.
The one special edition, which has it's probably, I don't know, I was going to say it's a sticker, but it's on a record, so it can't be a sticker. So it's got to be printed this way, is the Imperial logo, like the round logo, printed into it, but that one's sold out, unfortunately. That one's only $11 too. And then they have a double album for $50, so 2 records at once. But yeah,
This is my favorite.
I love it.
It's really good. I've just been pumping it nonstop. So yeah, you should, in your class tomorrow, just start.
Yeah, just start
dropping
playing
on
that. Yeah. Because I was playing Tom and Mean all the time. Oh, I can't tomorrow. Tomorrow's my even day. Those kids wouldn't be able to handle it.
No, they go a little nutty with the
they,
death metal.
They start nutty as it is. So,
I see.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were talking about the episode.
We
before
were
got
talking about the
musically
episode.
distracted.
Yeah. So check out Galactic Empire. Maybe we'll try and get them on the show. If
That would be great, actually.
I thought they were from around here.
Yeah.
But it does. We'll have to check out their Facebook page and stuff. I'm just looking on their website.
Yeah, check them out everywhere because I like good music and they're good music.
Yeah.
And it's Star Wars. You can't go
And
wrong.
it is Star Wars. So I think one of the friends from the show posted something on Facebook about getting. I think it was Terrence who posted that he's trying to get back in the vinyl. What should he get? And I said,
Oh yeah.
I said you should get They Might Be Giants Flood, because that was a neat looking record also. And I used to love They Might Be Giants. Flood was a wonderful album back in the 90s. I don't know.
I knew of Flood, but I didn't think I listened to very much.
Flood's a good album. You should
Yeah.
listen to it on the way home. Yeah, so we should tell them to check this one out instead. Check out this Galactic Empire, get some of their vinyls.
Yeah.
All right, so
Hera.
So Senator Zion is
being a jerk.
angry. He's being a jerk. He's telling her,
yelling.
no, you're getting disciplined and
He's
demoted.
gesticulating.
Yep, and
he's
pointing. And I thought for sure, who's the pilot that went with her? He showed up. The Carson. Yeah, I thought for sure Captain Carson was going to stand up and say something, but he just sat down and just like waited, and then suddenly there was commotion in the hallway, and who comes in? But sure enough, the one droid that's been in every single movie except for 2. I don't think he was in.
He wasn't in Solo.
And he also wasn't in the other one where they got the plans.
Rogue
for
One?
Rogue One.
I think he made a cameo in that one.
Did he make a cameo?
Yeah,
in
I think
that
him
one?
and R2 made a cameo in that one.
All right. I know he was in almost everything.
Yeah.
So, of course, he shows
But this
up.
is his first debut for the small screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this marks the 11th or 12th movie / thing he's done for. Apparently, he's very adamant that no one else will play C-3PO. Like he covets that role and that character.
I was wondering if they just used his voice or if he was actually inside the costume, because he was leaning backwards a lot more than he normally. Like he wasn't as straight up and down as he normally is.
Well, he's getting old.
He's getting old,
and it's probably hard to get into that metal suit.
Oh yeah.
I would hope that by now, 40 some odd years later, they would have found a way to make it slightly more comfortable.
Yeah, and sometimes. In some of the behind the scenes movies, they talked about how like he can't sit down in it. So if he's ever sitting down, he doesn't actually have the pants on.
That's great.
Yeah, and there was like one part where he was standing and he couldn't move or something. He like fell over, and they had to like help him up because he couldn't bend his knees to get him back up again or whatever. So I don't know.
It's good to know he does not yet have the red arm though. So.
That is true. Thank God we don't have the red arm version.
So this is popping back a little bit, but something else that we established in this thing when Carson did actually talk, because he did mention one thing. He mentioned what happened with Gideon.
Right.
So that puts us that placed our timeline now.
Yes.
We are after this past season of Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. That's all already happened.
Right, because he does say, well, what about Moff Gideon taking over and
with Mandalorian.
With Mandalorian, yeah. So we know that this is after the Mandalorian season ended.
Yep.
And they said, "Oh, that's just a pocket of whatever."
Yeah, it's a warlord.
Warlord, yeah. Which, if you want to, and also Senator Zion definitely has something against droids as well.
I loved when Chopper had to be restrained. He was like, hold me back, Carson.
I'll zap him. Yeah. So C-3PO does finally bust in. He says, I have very important news. And so he comes in and says that Hera was on a mission from none other than Princess Leia or Senator Organa.
Who is the, I guess, head of the Defense Council or
head
something?
of the Defense Council, yes. And it just shows more that, we find out in the later movies that she was not happy with the way what did they call it?
The New Republic?
The New Republic, how the New Republic was running things. So she's definitely going to stick up for the people who are not rebelling against the New Republic, but keeping their eyes open to the fact that there's still bad guys out there. And the New Republic doesn't want to admit it, or at least, Senator Zion doesn't want to admit it.
You got to figure by now she has also undergone her Jedi training.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Whatever training she had, which was substantial, we find out like she was like on the precipice of becoming one. She decided, nah. So like she's probably more aware of things than they are, and obviously she's going to be more open-minded to, the fantastical.
Yeah,
because she can experience it.
She can experience it. She can feel it better. So, there was a thing, the building, when they clicked to a city shot, the outside of the building had a rebel symbol attached to the building, where in previous episodes when Carter was in the city before, there was a banner hanging up, like they were in transition, like when a new restaurant takes over.
Right.
and you can still see the old restaurant sign underneath the banner. So now they got the sign people out there to put up the new Rebel banner.
Well, with government jobs, there's always a bid process. Takes forever.
Yeah, it takes forever. Yeah, it takes a while. So they did that. Then we cut to the Purgle flying. Ahsoka's training.
Yeah, she's doing her practice moves.
She's working on Form 1. Yeah, with her lightsabers. And as she's doing it, this is when we see AI Anakin.
Yes, Jedi GPT.
Jedi GPT. That's a band name. So he's there talking to her, and that's why I said I thought it was her creating a Chat GPT so that she had somebody to talk to, and he was training her or whatever. But we find out that it's data cards are recording, and he has
like
20
of them.
Yeah, and she put it into this nice, neat little wooden box,
which to me says we're going to be seeing more of them.
Yes,
because she mentioned that there are more of them.
She mentioned that there are more of them, or also. One of the videos, they said, maybe she'll give it to Luke when she sees Luke again. Because that would be neat if she did that, because Luke doesn't know
about his father.
Yeah. So it would be very nice. It would be a nice birthday present. Here's your birthday present. Here's videos of your dad.
Yeah, since I haven't got you anything for the past however many of them.
Right.
That's on me and your dad a little bit.
So I suddenly found these 20 videos, so whatever. And then... somebody posted this on Facebook. Last week, the Night Sisters could sense Ahsoka coming, and they said there's another Jedi coming or something like that. But they couldn't find Ezra on the same planet that they were on, which I found an interesting point of view.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they can sense when something's coming, but they can't sense exactly where. I don't know how magic works. I have a nitpicky thing where it's cool we're seeing the Night Sisters, but like I want to see them do magic, not their balls do magic.
Yeah. Because they have powers not just based off of their magic balls.
Yeah, and the magic balls are red lasers, but they do green fire magic. I want to see green fire magic.
Exactly. In the videos, Ahsoka or Anakin does mention that she's not going to be fighting just droids. He mentions
Asajj Ventress. Yeah.
Dooku, Grievous.
That was the first time they've brought her into any live action.
Yeah. Which is really cool because now, and I love how they're bringing Dave Filoni. He knows there's all these great books out there. So why do I have to reinvent the wheel when I can just use stuff that's already been written? Yep. So he's bringing it from Legends into canon.
Yep.
And bringing Ventress into live action. So maybe we'll see her at some point. Cool. And then, her ship. When we see one shot of her ship, there's moisture on her windshield. Just little details that they put in.
Yes. Well,
because she's in the mouth of a whale. So it was interesting that they're like, okay.
But why? But why would there be moisture in the mouth of a whale?
Because
that's not in the water.
But your mouth is hot.
Right. But I guess I'm trying to think the space whales are always in space, so what are they drinking?
The little plankton that are in
the space plankton.
What
are the space plankton drinking?
I don't know.
I'm just wondering where they get their water.
Yeah.
See, these are the holes. These are the plot holes.
These
that really
are the plot
take me
holes.
out of
These
it.
plot holes. It
right?
just ruins it. I'm never watching Star Wars.
Ruined forever.
The three Night Sisters, they're based on history, on Greek mythology.
Yeah, they're named after the Fates.
Yes.
Yep.
The sisters are named...
have near identical names to the Fates.
Yeah, to Clothal, Alcuth.
I want to...
Yeah.
I would pay just to hear you
try and say
Greek names all day.
Actropa and Laxis. There we go. So that's it. So they're Night Sisters' names.
Now say the thing that Boba Fett fell in episode 6.
Oh, the Scarlac pit?
Oh boy. Anyway,
so the Night Sisters, they're named the same things, just spelled slightly differently. So we know Filoni has done his research on Greek mythology. He's a big Greek mythology. Somebody said that will Enoch kill Thrawn? Because Thrawn was killed by his right-hand man in the books, Rook.
Yeah.
So then is Enoch going to replace Rook in killing
that role.
Thrawn?
Yeah,
in that role?
I saw some people talking about that same thing. And then, so we were talking about Enoch last week. It is, so the biblical Enoch was this figure who lived for like 300 years.
Okay.
And then went to heaven, but did not die. Like walked
Right,
into
he was
heaven.
able to get to heaven without dying, yes.
So people are trying to decide whether, like, why call this guy Enoch? Because there's so many pulls from mythology this season, more than any other, I feel like. So, like, trying to figure out how that, like, matches up. So, but I have seen that maybe, and that's where you kind of get stuck, because it's like, you want to take stuff and take ideas from books that are good, but you also don't want to completely rewrite them.
Right.
Because you know that large portion of your fan base are people like us who have read them, and so you want to still give them some surprise and like not be like, oh, this is what happened. So yeah, I don't know. It's a fine balance, I feel like.
Yeah, so it will be interesting, and I doubt if he does, because the rumors are, of course they're rumors, but speculation, I guess, is that this season's going to end. Thrawn's going to get back into the regular Star Wars galaxy. Maybe he'll do some destruction when he first gets there.
You mentioned this last week. You think it's going to be like an Avengers?
Yeah, but then there's going to be like an
right?
Avengers, Civil War or whatever, assembled or whatever. Yeah, we're all, Endgame. Yeah, we're
all the Mandalorians.
And the Mandalorians,
Yeah.
all Ahsoka. Ezra comes back with or without a lightsaber. All these people are all there fighting against.
Yeah, how about Ezra becoming a space hippie?
I know, right?
He's just like in these trailers all day smoking weed, and, and then they travel the lands, and he's just like, nah, bro.
They just go from
the Force is my ally.
I don't need anything. I got the Force.
Nah,
man.
bro, you keep that lightsaber. That's a symbol of the man that tries to oppress us.
That's the man. That's the man holding us down.
Right,
I don't need the
man.
man. I'll handle without it. It's cool, dude. It's cool. It's fine.
So we'll talk about that a little when we get there, but I
Yeah.
do feel like there's more to that.
Yes,
There's
I agree.
definitely something we're missing here.
I agree that we're gonna get to more than what we saw there.
Yeah.
But so then, other people pointed out in the past week that Thrawn doesn't have any officers on his ship, all just stormtroopers.
That's true.
There's no officers on the ship whatsoever.
Interesting.
Now, the rebuttal to that is we haven't seen any of the officer decks, the flight deck where officers or the control deck, I guess, whatever you want to call it, where you steer the ship from.
Sure.
We've only been in that loading bay where there's all of them are chanting Thrawn and stuff.
But we also know that Pelion is still out there.
But Pelion's not on the ship.
But when invariably we know they're going to get back to the New Republic, and we know, I mean, God help me, hope we know that next episode Thrawn's not going to get killed. You know what I mean? Like he's going to get back, and likely he's going to whoop their asses.
Right.
And so you could then assume that from there he will regroup with Pelion and his branch of all that.
Yeah.
And we already know that this is not a remnant; it's a bunch of different people who all talk and stuff. So maybe after he gets back, maybe all his officers died and Pelion will rejoin him. I mean, I'm sure Pelion will rejoin him.
And also, like when we were watching in, was it a Mandalorian, when they had the circle of everybody? Yeah. They're all waiting for Thrawn to come back to be like their leader. So all the five families will all be reunited once Thrawn comes back, and they'll all work together. So it'll be interesting when that happens. So
I think part of season 2 is going to be him reconnecting with them.
Mm-hmm.
Them, like the more cocky ones, like trying to like challenge him and essentially say no, and then him basically destroying them.
Yeah.
And then everyone else being like, oh yeah, let's do the thing.
Let's stay with him so we don't get killed also. So it was interesting that they were pointing out that there were no officers, but we'll see what happens. And then, like I said, the hermit crab people were in Star Wars Resistance, and I do remember after I saw that, I do remember seeing them. They were like down in the bellows of a ship because they didn't like talking to people or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we see Sabine and Ezra are hanging out.
Just chilling. And
Just chilling.
Sabine has no respect. She's got her legs up on this kid's house.
Moving house.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. But we do finally, everybody was, yelling and screaming last week that Ezra's been gone for 15 years, and she doesn't say, like, oh, by the way, all these things happened.
Right.
So now they allude to the fact that she says all that without actually going
she caught
through
him
it.
up.
Yeah, she caught him up. He said, so...
Hey, remember all those things we did? It amounted to something.
Yeah, and it was interesting because he says, and let me get this straight, Palpatine is dead, and she's like, well, that's what people say.
Yep.
So that was a fun little nod to, we know in the next 3 movies that he comes back.
He's not dead. Yeah.
So we're gonna leave it at that. I don't know if we needed that. It would have been fine if she said no, or if she said yes, he's dead, because everybody, thought that he was dead, except for his closest people who were trying to rebuild him.
But it also stands to reason, she, unlike most of the galaxy, knows what Palpatine is. You know what I mean?
Okay, I like that theory. Yes,
they had the interaction. Like they whether or not she wasn't there for it, I guess. But I'm sure Ezra might have caught her up on like all the craziness that happened in the world between worlds and stuff. So just knowing who that person is, maybe she has like that's what they say, but who knows if he can die, sort of a thing.
Right. Okay, I'll go with that.
That's just something that popped into my head. It could be complete nonsense.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. Then Ahsoka's telling her little robot friend that she can find Sabine with the Force.
Yeah, and I found that to be an interesting moment there, because she, like, Hu Yang specifically goes, "Do you think your bond is strong enough?"
Right. Yeah.
Which to me means like, I'm thinking back on Rebels in the past 6 episodes, and I'm going, I have not seen them have a hugely strong bond.
Right.
So they must have one that we don't know about.
Yes.
So
because
there's so much we don't know about that first training. You know what I mean?
Right. The first time that she was training, because they do talk about in the beginning of the season about how, she stopped her training. So since Rebels ended, and I mean the two of them were going off together to try and find Ezra.
Right.
So they have spent some time together. So it is interesting. It would be interesting to find out how much time they did, like you said, spent together.
Yeah. And so by this is all happening after they came out of hyperspace and to a minefield.
Oh yes.
And it was funny, they were talking inside the mouth, and I'm like, just sitting there going, there's going to be some explosions any second here, right? And then all of a sudden, the dude opens his mouth and it's just a firestorm.
Right. And I thought that they were shooting at the Purgle because they knew they were coming. So I thought they were waiting for them, and they were just shooting at them.
It turns out they just dropped mines in the area.
Thousands and thousands of mines, a whole bunch of mines.
I was very glad that we didn't see any of the whales join their brethren in the rings.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see any of them get turned inside out by these mines.
Yeah. But they navigated their way out of there, and then they were hiding.
Funny line. They were like, well, at least we have the whales to protect us.
Oh, yeah.
And then the whales were like, I'm tired of this. I'm jumping back into hyperspace.
Yep, they pieced out.
So I wonder where they're going, if they're just trying to figure out, like, pulling a giant U-turn.
Yeah, just like kind of coming at it from the other side. Maybe that's how they get back.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like the Purgle like pop out. They're like, hey, what the hell was that all about, man?
Yeah.
Y'all all right? Let's find a different way home.
Let's find a different way home. So,
so yeah, they're hanging out in the debris field because they were chased there by.
And then as soon as the whales disappear, then there's bad guys chasing them. So it was another fun dogfight, which was good.
The Purgle looked there was some shaky CGI this episode.
Okay.
Not like earth shattering, like oh my gosh, this is terrible. But there were a couple of moments where I went, oh, that's not like there. One moment with Ahsoka where she jumps out of the ship later.
Yeah,
that like there's a moment there
when her tumble and fall was a little
off.
Yeah, a little off.
And then the Purgle looked a little out of place when they came out of hyperspace. There was another spot I can't remember, but yeah, I mean it was nothing that took me out too much, but. It was,
but it
could have been a lot of money on Anakin's face.
Yeah, they did spend a lot of time.
But the dogfights look great.
It just shows how good of a pilot she is, because she was able to elude 6 different fighters. And I love I love when they give you the camera shot of the pilot, and the pilot has a full helmet on, so it doesn't matter. You can't tell like his emotion if he's like angry, like I'm gonna get her, you know, or if he's like, oh, whatever, because it's just a helmet. And when it's I guess at this point it must just be the pilot flight suit that all these people have, but they all just look like I don't know if you watched the G.I. Joe cartoons when I was a kid, but they had the main G.I. Joe characters, and then they had the like privates, like just hundreds of just green uniform guys who were doing all the dying and shooting and whatever. And every time I see one of these suits, it's just like, oh, this is just a backup character who means absolutely nothing.
This is someone who is in this scene to die.
Yeah, and I'm watching, and I'm like, are we going to get other shots? And is somebody going to be better? Like, is it going to be the Padawan? Is she going to be flying a ship again?
Right.
Or is it just going to be 6 of these guys who mean nothing to us?
Yeah.
And so we see the one shot, and it just made me laugh.
And then again, this is all happening because Thrawn, like, he looked up who she is apparently.
Right.
And she says specifically, this is everything we have on her from the Inquisitorial database.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that's pretty cool that they have like access to the Empire's records, and the Empire kept records on these Jedi, and he goes, oh my gosh, she was Anakin's Padawan.
Yeah.
I know that dude. And so he knows, he's like, all right, well, if she's anything like him, I know how she's going to operate.
The neat thing about that was that the Inquisitors were all former Jedi who turned. So they all the Inquisitors probably at one point went through the Jedi Academy, so they knew who all these Jedi were. So it was good, a good, nice little subtle Easter egg there. Yes. But yeah, so she's avoiding, and she goes, oh, I have an idea. We'll go into the debris field. And Huang is like, no, it's too dense in there. She's like, I'll be okay.
Do you know what the odds are? They're terrible. They're astronomically bad. That was a good little.
That was He's awesome.
Yep.
He's so much fun.
Yep.
So then she like hides in like the one rib cage or whatever of a giant whale that's like in there. And the other pilots are like, I'm not going in there. So then they all like.
Well, Thrawn also called them off.
He does call them off at that point.
At one point, because essentially he's like, all right, well,
yeah,
I know what you'll do. And then they find her, I guess.
And then this is also him showing him that he's not willing to risk his people's lives just to do it. Like, he's not going to keep them. You will find her, but we're going to die. I don't care. Get them. You know, like, we'll just come back. We'll figure it out later. And then that's when he calls in the Night Sisters. And all 3 of them have to work together. So I was thinking, what happens if, because there are 3 balls, all form a triangle.
Right.
And then the triangle is able to, triangulate GPS and find her exact location. So if one of these 3 Night Sisters gets whacked, gets killed by a lightsaber or Sabine's 2 pistols, are the Night Sisters then... the other 2 useless?
Huh. You think there's maybe like they have one in waiting, like a vice Night Sister who's like waiting in the wings to replace him?
The little the Night Sister in training.
Yeah.
And she's like,
every year they take on an intern to fill the role just in case.
It's like, okay, you can come out now. It's your turn.
I mean, they got to have more than just these 3, right?
Right. I mean, especially like in the cartoons and even in Star Wars Rebels, the game, there were Night Sisters all over Dathomir, which is where these Night Sisters eventually go and live, is on Dathomir. So, but it was just interesting to me. I just thought about that. I was like, oh, since they do everything in 3s, if we take one of them out, we don't need to take all 3 of them out. Just take one of them out, and then they're useless. So, Thrawn. Oh, and then. I did like when Sabine and Ahsoka, when Ahsoka did finally reach out to Sabine, and she was like, Sabine.
Yeah.
And then Sabine has like this glassed over look, and she's like, Ahsoka? And Ezra's like, you okay? What's going on?
You good?
What are you doing over there?
Ezra is great so far. I love the portrayal of Ezra, especially in the scene later on we have where he's like, no, hold on. He's like trying to talk them out of killing him. Essentially,
he's like, "What? You prisoners? You want us as prisoners, don't you?
That
Don't
was
you want
very
that?"
Ezra in like it could have been straight out of Rebels.
And somebody pointed out in, I guess, last week's episode, he said something about Jabba the Hutt, which is what his code name was all the time when he was on Rebels. He constantly told everybody that he was Jabba the Hutt, and it was really funny. I don't think it was Thrawn. It was who was the other baddie, the head of in Rebels? He had the big mutton chops.
Not Hux.
Hux.
Not
Hux.
Callus.
Callus was like, "You're a little small for a Hutt," like he knew, that wasn't his name type of thing. But it was funny. So people were like, Jabba the Hutt's dead. This takes place after blah blah blah, and they're like, "You never watched the cartoons."
Yeah.
And there was I loved, and even like I was talking to somebody tonight. I said, "Oh, are you watching Ahsoka?" He's like, "No, not really." I was like, "Did you watch Rebels?" "I don't watch cartoons," and I'm like, "Okay, like it's not like." Not that there's anything wrong. I loved watching Scooby-Doo or Hanna-Barbera cartoons, or even The Simpsons have been on television on prime time for 35 years now.
Yep.
Like, for whatever reason, people have a stigma about watching cartoons. That's so childish. But Rebels was a very
people
good...
take themselves too seriously.
They do. Rebels was a very good cartoon story. Like,
if you're watching Star Wars, then you're just as childish as those who watch like that. Like,
and that was
suddenly it's not childish just because you're watching Space Wizards in real time.
Yeah.
Like, instead of like someone using their art to draw it, you're watching a dude fake lift something while that thing is picked up with strings.
Right. You're watching CGI, which is cartoons.
It's just really
it's just
nice
really
nicely.
So,
people just take themselves too seriously.
And what was the other thing people said about? Darn it, I had it, and then you ruined it.
That's
you
what I do.
blew it.
I'm a ruiner.
You're a ruiner.
You blew it.
You blew it. You let the whole team down.
I do that.
But yeah, so people are like, it was a giant Facebook thread all about him saying Jabba the Hutt, and everybody's like, what? And they're like, you should watch the cartoon. I'm not watching that. That's so childish. Yeah. And it's like, okay. Oh, that's what it was. George Lucas said Star Wars was for kids.
Yeah.
So here you are, a 40-year-old person saying, I don't watch cartoons. You're still watching a kid's show. So deal with it and grow up and watch a cartoon, idiot.
Grow up and watch a cartoon.
Grow up and watch a cartoon. That's it.
I want to get a bumper sticker.
That is a bumper sticker.
But it's got to be the whole thing. Grow up and watch a cartoon, idiot.
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 You idiot. So they're talking, and just as Ahsoka is able to find Sabine, that's the same time the Night Sister's magic is able to find her, because she's using the Force to find, and they're using the Force to find her, and boom. So then they start bombing that area, which made me laugh, because then she just moved, and then the bombing stopped, and it was like...
You would think they would keep bombing. Or
right.
I guess they flushed her out, so maybe they would just keep bombing.
But they didn't know that
her.
they flushed her out, so start there and just start rippling out
just
in all directions.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then Natty being... Oh, yeah, the Natty, the rock people... they were using slingshots, and they're like,
Very
that
effective.
didn't work. Yeah.
Very effective, yeah. And pots and pans at one point. Someone threw a pot at the guy's head. And that actually helped save Sabine at one point.
Yeah.
So I guess at this point, like, we're getting to, like, Balin and Shin are out on, like, the lam for him. And
right, they're looking for him.
Balin essentially says, hey, I know you want to, like, go far with this new empire. I don't give a crap about them.
Yeah.
Go do your thing. I'm going to go do mine.
He says, where's... Oh, no. I thought I wrote it down.
Something about his ambition.
Balin Shin says that their impatience for victory will guarantee the defeat. I was like, ooh, that is a very, very good statement there. I like that. But, yeah, so he tells her basically, go ahead, this is your fight. And then it was funny because Thrawn is watching the fight on closed circuit television because they had that little drone flying around.
They're live streaming.
The live streaming.
It's a Facebook Live.
It was.
Yeah.
And he had little Lego pieces moving all around, showing where all the good guys and bad guys were. And every time a bad guy died, he would like wipe it off the table, shoot it off the table. You're out of here. So he's watching all this go on. The Ewoks all circle up. Everybody was comparing them to Ewoks.
I can see that.
I can see it in the fact that they're.
I mean, they're
primitive.
little. They're kind of weird, but they also like are scrappy.
Yeah.
And they're like fighting.
I felt that the Ewoks had better fighting styles, I guess.
Yeah, but that one stormtrooper who got sandwiched between the two trailers,
Yeah.
that was pretty rad, man.
Pretty rad.
That was the one moment of that scene where I was like, ooh, you know, like,
ouch.
oof.
Yeah. So then this is when Ezra's like, no, I gave you my lightsaber. I don't need it.
Yeah.
I have the Force.
Yep,
It's
the Force
okay.
is my. And again, this is the part where I feel like either he like forgot how to lightsaber battle, or now he has decided that he no longer fights. You know, he's like. But that was my thought initially. I was like, oh, now he's a hippie.
Right.
But then he later on is fighting, and he like shoots someone with their own gun and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's not like he's a pacifist.
Yeah,
now.
so it's almost like he learned the Terakazi
Yeah. So
from Star Wars Galaxies.
and I guess if you've been 10 years, and like my other thought was maybe he is not a like he got rusty, but clearly he's like been like training because
Yeah.
like he held his own against
Yeah.
like not even held his own. He was clearly overmatched Shin, I think.
Right, and he didn't even have a lightsaber.
Yeah.
He was
So he was just like grabbing the thing and dodging.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they remember that he's not like a kid anymore. You know,
Right.
He's been there. He's been around for a while. He should be far better than Sabine,
Yeah.
especially considering he was like, you? Why?
Yeah. She's been training you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so yeah, I think we're gonna find out why he wouldn't take the lightsaber.
Mhm.
I don't know.
It was
exactly why yet, but-
it was fun watching him just dodge everything. Like
Yeah.
there's all different styles of martial arts, and my one friend back in college was like a black belt on like 3 different styles of martial arts, and one of them was a very defensive one where you didn't do anything offensively, like you weren't kicking and punching. You were just constantly dodging, and just using their weight against them. And it's like, okay, once you throw a punch, I'm going to push your arm away, and then I'm going to be able to like twist your arm and break your arm without even throwing. And he was doing all that where he's just like, oh, you have a lightsaber? Watch this. Whoop, whoop. And he's just like moving left and right and dodging backwards and whatever.
Yeah, it would be cool if we like found out that over like the past 10 years he's really leaned into like the spirituals. We've never really seen a Force user like that who's like less into fighting and more into like using the Force.
Yeah.
So it would be cool if his like, you know, his whole thing is like, I spent 10 years without it. I don't need it. And like, there's a perspective of like a Jedi is their sword, you know, but like Ahsoka's specifically been fighting that, that notion that like you're a warrior.
Right. Yeah.
And to be able to see him like using the Force to fight his battles for him and not like be just, you know, obviously having to fight when he needs to, but still being able to hold his own
But just not
using
being
the
that
Force.
weapon, but
Right.
being able to use the Force in a different way as your weapon, as opposed to I'm just a weapon with a sword. And
Right.
he's just like, no, I'm going to be a weapon where I just avoid you and then take you out that way.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It would be cool. And also, you know, if you don't have a lightsaber for 15 years, you can practice with a stick all you want, but why practice with a stick if you don't have the opportunity to get a lightsaber?
Yeah, I thought maybe he'd pull out a lightsaber, and I'm like, how's that gonna happen? He's been on this planet. There's no kyber crystals here.
Yeah, and that was one thing. Like, you're in a completely different galaxy, so there's no kyber crystals. The Night Sisters aren't using kyber crystals at all. They're using the Force differently. So he's also learned how to use the Force differently,
Right.
and I liked it a lot. I was enjoying watching him.
Yep.
Like, take what you think a normal Jedi does and be like, no, I don't need that. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. So then they're fighting and people are dying. Obviously not anybody that we like. All these other people.
Sure, of course.
I did like Balin where he was like, I have other things to do over here.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see where he goes and where his path takes him in the next episode.
Because he got in that fight with Ahsoka,
Yeah.
right? And the roles reversed this time, where like he drew the lightsaber first, and like and it was Ahsoka's performance. The last couple episodes have been great. Like this one especially, she like is grinning during fighting and stuff. Like she's being silly. Like she like, you can't beat me. I don't think I need to.
I don't need
you know?
to.
And then like she's just grinning, and then she's gone. So like the snips, we've said this a couple times, but like after the Ahsoka Anakin duel, where she became Ahsoka the White,
right?
I think that was a lot. That went a long way in kind of bringing her back a little bit. But their fight was cool. And then she got away and went to help Sabine et al. And he just like that was his moment to kind of make a decision, right? He could go back and help them or keep doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
And he kept doing what he was doing.
He kept doing what he was doing. He's like, I don't. This isn't my fight. I don't really care. I have better things to worry about. And I think once again, it's leaning back to what I was talking about last week, where I think he wants to get to the world between worlds so that he can go back and either go back in time or go ahead in time, whatever, and start the Jedi Order the way he feels it will be better used than the way it was used.
Right.
Because he doesn't seem, and we talked about it a lot with the orange lightsaber, he's not Sith. He's definitely not going full bad. But he's also conflicted in what he, not even, whatever. He has a set path of what he wants to do. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully next week we find out what it is.
Yeah, and even in this one, when Ahsoka, he says, I didn't think I was going to see you again. He was like, disappointed? And he was like, no.
No.
Like, he very clearly does not want dead Jedi. You know, he's he's a more complicated figure than all that. But again, there's one episode left. I think they're going to have to recast him.
I think so.
I hope they do. Like, I'm tired of the digital placing and like writing people out. Like, it's a thing that happens.
Yeah.
Like, keep the story going.
Yeah, because it's a good storyline.
Yeah.
And it seems that it would be a waste of a storyline to have it end. If you know that you're going to do another season, at least another season of Ahsoka, it seems like to have this much emphasis on this character to just have it end after 8 episodes seems like a waste of a character.
Yeah.
And even if at the end of this episode, at the end of 8, if he just goes into the world between worlds, because that's what his goal was, but we don't see him come out or see where it's taking him, then when he comes out at the other end, he could be the younger version of himself, and we would be able to recast him and just have somebody else playing it, and that would be perfect. Yep. So, I don't know. It's a good character. He was a great actor. It's a shame that he's not here anymore.
Yep.
Because he is doing an amazing. He did an amazing job in this episode in the season. So then
they wrap up their fight.
Right. Thrawn calls everybody back and says, "No, we don't need to lose any more people.
No, we already got what we needed.
Let's
get loaded and go."
And the Night Sisters was like, or it wasn't even Night Sisters, it was the
Elsbeth.
Elsbeth was like, "What are you talking about?" He goes,
"What you talking about, Willis?
What you talking?" He's like, "We got everything loaded up. We distracted them long enough that we were able to finish loading the shipments from the catacombs.
Yeah.
We don't know what the shipments are. Everybody's assuming that it's more dead people that the Night Sisters have either already revived and they're sitting there healing of some sort. Maybe they're in just bacta tanks. They're all
having flashbacks.
Or the Night Sisters are coming with. More likely the Night Sisters are coming with because that's how they're going to get to Dathomir, where we're then going to see them again or whatever.
Sure.
Or is it Dantooine or
it's Dathomir?
Dathomir, okay. So, yes, they're all loaded and ready to go. So he's like, we don't need them anymore. Come on back. And Shin, she was very conflicted because she really wanted to finish the battle.
Yep.
And she's like, fight you? I'm being called back, but I need to fight you. I don't know what to do.
And then Ahsoka's like, yeah, bro, just put down the weapon.
Put down the weapon.
We got
Come
room
with us.
for you.
We got room for
we
you.
got another bunk.
You're cool, dude.
Your bangs are fine.
Your bangs
we don't
are
hold them
fine.
against you.
We don't mind your bangs.
And she just
she's like,
runs
nope,
away.
Gotta run back to daddy.
Yep.
Sorry. And then also Thrawn said something about there's one piece missing from this when he's looking at the map.
Yeah, where's Balin's skull?
Where's Balin's skull? Yeah, so it'll be interesting.
And that was our hint as the viewers that they're not going to lose. These guys are going to lose, right? That was the audience being like, hey, there's a problem.
There's a problem here. Your people aren't working in unison the way they should. Then they get back to, and I'm trying to think what else happened after that.
It ended very abruptly.
Yeah.
And when it ended, I was like, oh, really? And I looked to see the runtime, and it was actually 40 minutes, 39 minutes.
Yeah.
But it did end very abruptly with like that. Like essentially they ran away, like Shin ran away. There was Ahsoka hugged Ezra.
Right.
They had their little hello. And that was it.
That was pretty much
I think
it.
that was how it ended.
Yeah. And then Ezra keeps hinting to the fact that he can't wait to get back home, which is troubling
Yeah.
because why keep bringing it up if he's not if there's going to be some kind of conflict with getting him back home.
Yeah.
So and I mean Ahsoka got there using the Purgle.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to let her hop onto the ring and go back. You know, they're gonna put the Chimera in the ring. They're gonna put whatever ship they came with, and they're gonna take the ring and get out of here. So how is Ahsoka and all of them gonna get home if the Purgle now spaced out because they're running into the minefield and they're like, yo, we got to get out of here. So they're gone.
Right.
So there's no way for these guys to get home. So they're just going to be stuck there. They're going to make a spinoff in this other galaxy.
That's it.
That's all. The Rock people. Here it is. The Rock people are going to all push their rocks together, and it's going to make a portal.
Oh, see, I figured you meant you were going to have to put their trailers together.
The trailers.
And with their powers combined, they are the most mobile of homes. And then they can get you back to the next galaxy.
They're going to all combine and make the... what was the... from Spaceballs, what was the name of the motorhome? It wasn't...
Winnebago.
The Winnebago. But
Yeah.
was that Spaceballs 1?
Yeah.
Or was,
Spaceballs 1 was the name of the Star Destroyer.
right. So the Winnebago had a name also. I forget what it was called.
Did it?
Yeah.
You may be right. Like it had something written on the
There was like
on the license plate.
on the
like a
license
vanity
plate. Yeah.
Spaced out or something like that.
Winnebago from Spaceballs. The Eagle 5.
Eagle 5,
The
that's
Eagle
right.
5,
Eagle
yes.
5, you're right, man.
So they put all their shells together and it forms the Eagle 5.
I love that.
And then they hop in the Eagle 5.
And then they go to ludicrous speed.
They get the ludicrous. We've gone plaid.
That's Spaceballs. They've gone to plaid. I got to watch that again.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
Yeah. Anyway, that's about it.
That's about it.
We've been doing this for over an hour.
So it abruptly ended just like this podcast. Have a good night, folks.
Hey, we have spoken.
Here's again. Bye-bye. We should end it just like that.
We really should.
We should. All right. Goodbye.
Hey, see ya.
See ya.